Hi, everybody. Sorry for that, but it's difficult sometimes with the online stuff that's going to. And Nikolae over here can agree on that. Am I right, Nikolae? That sometimes with all the online talks that we're doing, and sometimes we get out of our schedule and out of our mind. Anyway, hello everybody. My name is Dimitri.
Time has a different dimension in online, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. And also in the COVID era as well, it's different. Anyway, hello everybody. I'm Dimitris Valas. I'm a journalist for CNN Greece covering digital technologies, and I'm hosting this fireside chat that I will have with Nikolae Vilceanu. I hope that I said that right. Okay, Nikolae.
You said it very well. Thank you.
Okay. And Nikolae, he's the technology director at Vodafone. Especially here, you're at Vodafone Greece, and then what we have as a title for this fireside chat is 5G, understanding the fifth generation of wireless technology. I think it's pretty simple what we're going to talk about, 5G. And so Nikolae is just to make a short introduction to Nikolae. He's as I said, he's purely acting as the Vodafone's technology director, has an engineering background with more than 10 years managing experience. He says that he's a logical mind with a pragmatic approach to problem solving and a drive to see things through to completion. We're going to see about that, Nikolae, in the next half hour that we're going to talk about 5G. Okay, so I don't know if you want to add something to your profile that I just said. Is it something that I have to mention as well, or you want to mention before we start?
Nothing. It comes as a fact that I have an radio access network DNA.
Okay.
And I'm coming from a family that has tradition in radio engineering. So my father also was also a radio engineer.
Okay, that's interesting. So So we'll start from there. Okay. Someone that he's not a radio network engineer asks you, okay, Nikolae, you are technology director at Vodafone, one of the largest telecommunications groups in the world. You are talking a lot about 5G. Explain 5G in 30 seconds.
Oh, that would be a big challenge for an radio engineer. As you know, engineers are having a lot of thoughts, and they are expressing them very, very hard. So 30 seconds would not be enough, okay?
Okay.
But first of all, thank you very much for having me considered into this interview. And now allow me to jump directly there. So 5G is as everybody is talking, the fifth generation of the mobile network. And it's a new global wireless standard, which is coming after the long series from 1 to 2G, 3G, and 4G. And this 5G is having as a purpose to connect virtually everyone and everything together, including machines, objects, and devices. The potential of 5G, everybody talks that is much higher than any of the previous generation. I cannot agree more. Vodafone believes that the 5G will enable changes that will influence the way we live and influence in a good way the way in which we are doing business and the way in which businesses are operating. Its sole purpose, it was to deliver high multi-gigabit peak data, ultra low latency, meaning fast response to the application servers, and much more reliability. In the same time, with the high big speed, they are targeting massive network capacity, since we are living those days in which the need of connected data is increasing day by day. And last but not least is looking for a more uniform experience between its users. Higher in performance and improve efficiency. This is an enabler for new experiences for the users and for connecting a new industry.
Okay, let's little bit focus on some of the stuff that you said. Okay, so 5G, first of all, is just more speed or not?
Definitely is not just more speed. Allow me to do a little bit of history. Maybe it's worse for the auditorium to go through the history, because the history, it's very interesting in terms of mobile communication. In around 1980s, we started with the first generation, which was bringing analog voice, mobile analog voice. And then 2G, the so-called GSM, introduced digital voice, which was a huge evolution. And the 3G brought the true mobile data, since the GPRS was not that fast. While 4G in 2010, it was bringing to the end user the true era of mobile broadband. 5G is the answer for a huge amount of devices. So besides the high speed, the 5G brings the high capacity. So this is the biggest hype when it comes to the 5G.
Okay, but just to be clear about that, okay, you were totally right about that. Okay, 3G was mobile internet, 4G was mobile broadband. Now we're moving to other stuff, and a lot of people are saying that 5G is where the words of IT and telecoms are really colliding together and connecting together. But why there is so much hype? Okay, there is so much hype around 5G, and I'm perhaps older than you. I remember when I was covering first back in the early 2000s the 3G auctions, and the 3G, when 3G was coming, there was lots of hype, which for a lot of people, didn't come around. So perhaps some people are afraid of the same thing. I'm not one of them, but there are a lot of people that are afraid about this hype. So why there is so much hype, especially among you, the engineers and the people that are working in the telecom operator?
So the hype comes from the way in which the 5G was designed. From the very beginning, it was an answer for a clear need that is coming in front of us. Us as telecom operators, we are fighting with a constant challenge of increasing data. And if you are, for example, a transportation business, then someone says to you that as of tomorrow the capacity has to double, then you will get very frightened about that. Actually, the reality into the telecommunications today is that the capacity that is needed out there can vary so much faster. And the dynamic that we have into this industry is unprecedented compared to any other industry. And the biggest hype comes with the power of this technology by design, by the architecture that it brings to absorb this massive challenge that actually without 5G would not have an answer. Yeah. So the 5G, the killer application for 5G is the capacity that the network is bringing for the increasing needs of the users. Now, as an add-on, it's also bring superior reliability compared to anything before, and meaning that it will be there serving the needs of the customer with the higher availability than any technology before. And last but not least, with very fast latency. So we are calling into the industry neglectable latency by bringing through the architecture the application server closest to the user, and last but not least, by having a totally different capability into the air interface.
Is it more for businesses or more for consumers, at least at this point?
Well, that's a very, very good question. 5G is talking about bringing 30 trillion grow into economic activity by 2035. This is the word around there, word outside there. Now, of course, this type of increase is not going to happen only with businesses, only with consumer. And I think 5G, by nature, it has an application for both classes, also business to business and business to consumer. For business to business, of course, we are talking about mobile edge computing, so bringing application closer to the business customer. We are talking about mobile private network. We are talking about connected machines. We are talking about a lot of new applications, and by putting 5G, we are bringing an ecosystem for all the devices that the business customer has. On the consumer side, the new applications like augmented reality, like virtual reality, like teleworking are going to be very well fit for the 5G new technology. So I think the time will tell. And actually, as we learn into the last 1.5 to 2 years, in which our lives completely changed by an unexpected event that was far to be forecasted at this size, I think having 5G around as a technology that you can rely on in such times will be always good, and it will be a solid foundation for answering the needs that we are having into day-to-day life.
Okay, so which sectors do you believe that they will be most impacted at this point from 5G?
Well, as I said, the three features that the 5G is bringing is speed, latency, and then reliability. And as a consequence, there are three pillars that are being addressed by these three features. And we are talking about enhanced mobile broadband, in which technology is used for AR, VR, faster, bigger speeds, bigger resolutions for the content that we are watching, and so on and so forth. And then in terms of reliability, we are talking about mission critical communications where you cannot miss the link with the application server and with the end user, like in remote driving cars. And I'm talking about an operator sitting somewhere into a corner of the world, and the crane that is operating by the operator is somewhere on a construction yard. That is type of the critical application, or remote surgery, where you cannot play with the life of the patients, and actually the doctor was caught somewhere remote, and he can help in saving a life. And then we are talking about massive IoT, where as I was mentioning before, 5G is meant to seamlessly connect a massive number of embedded sensor and virtually everything around them, and is putting together a whole ecosystem that is enabling a new connected world.
Okay, can you give us a couple of examples that already are taking advantage of 5G characteristics and the features of 5G and the advantage of 5G in order to provide better service, or a new service or a different service? Is there something that you can give us an example, like in order, to better understand everybody what's going on?
Sure. We have a hospital in Düsseldorf, the UKD hospital, where the 5G is used to save lives. The technology will allow the hospital to use mixed reality assistance. So the doctors are using 3D renders of organs and of other parts of the body, which are brought into the physical space and are used by surgeons to better understand the task at hand. In addition, experts which are remote and which are helpful for a case can step up and do remote surgery with the help of the technology. Another application.
Is it something that it's going on right now, that if a doctor that listens to us go to this hospital in Düsseldorf will see that happening?
For the moment, it's under development, but it's very close to become a reality. Yeah.
Okay.
And
It reminds me a little bit of Iron Man, to be honest. Okay, this whole concept and Minority Report, perhaps, but it's closer than we think.
It sounds like science fiction, and it gives you chills, it gives you goosebumps. But that's the reality, and that's the reality that it's going to appear from one moment to the other. And usually, people which are skeptic to believe that this is going to happen are usually interrupted by some people which are already doing it.
Okay.
Talking about healthcare, we are talking about a lot of sensors which are going to help monitoring and getting to doctors a lot of information, a lot of useful information, and those will be available at hand in real time. So we will have a fast reaction to what is happening to a patient as doctors.
Okay, can you give us some more examples? You started to mention another example, and I stopped you, to be honest, because I want to a little bit focus more on that. But you had another example as well.
I have another example at Ford. So with the mobile private network, they needed a manufacturer facility to support flexible production in line for helping experiment a new way of manufacturing electrical engines and a new way of understanding in real time all the things that are happening into the factory. Smart welding machines are used into manufacturing process to generate 500,000 of welding points every minute. So this type of activities and the volume of information which is related to such activities needs a very fast and reliable network with low latency that is helping bringing all the necessary data for the computers to take decisions with the pinpoint precisions. As part of group partners, we helped Ford to install a mobile private network into their plant and set up a test manufacturing facility in downtown. And this put them in a totally different position, having a next generation network and being in position to support their plan for the future.
Okay, what is the status of 5G deployment so far in the world? Are we, what's the coverage, perhaps? Let's put it this way.
So I can only talk into the name of Vodafone. I will not bring examples outside of Vodafone. We in Vodafone we launch 5G in 240 cities around 10 European countries in which we are operating. And we are also live in 3 African markets, South Africa, Kenya, and Lesotho via our Vodacom operation. We have the largest IoT platform, which is, as of today, encountering 136 million connections. And I really believe that Vodafone has the largest 5G network with these 240 cities in 10 countries around Europe. Now, all these are gigabit capable and also are accompanied by gigabit capable fixed networks in really probably 44 million homes around Europe. Now, when it comes to the operation, I think Vodafone is sustained by the leading tech workforce in Europe, composed of many engineers which are making this happening.
Okay, at least as far as I know, as a journalist covering this stuff, it will be also very interesting when we're going to see the 5G standalone architecture, meaning that's when we're going to see perhaps what some people call true 5G. And I think Vodafone is a little bit ahead of that. Okay, you are in the pioneers of that. Am I right about that? You have started.
Yes, you are right. So as of today, as you know, the 5G works in the so-called non-standalone. So it's a combination of 5G network and 4G network. Yeah, we are doing the signaling over the 4G network. Now, the future will bring us closer to the so-called standalone architecture, where the 4G will disappear from the picture and everything will fly into the standalone architecture. And yes, you're right, we are highly advanced in terms of standalone architecture, and is going to be a reality around many countries around Europe. What will bring the standalone architecture? It will bring the so-called true 5G advantages, and one of these true 5G advantages are the low latency. So those use cases where we hear about remote drones, remote driving, robots, which are relying on the mobile edge computer, computing into the cloud, are going to be benefiting of this standalone architecture.
That's why I asked that question, because a lot of people, perhaps, what I'm saying is that, Nikolae, you've also have experienced that a lot of people have heard about 5G and the hype, and when they see 5G in their mobile phone, say, okay, that's only what you were talking about, but I think the best are yet to come. That's why I'm asking that question. And I don't know your opinion about that.
As I said, the world is into a continuous transformation, and the pace in which this transformation is happening is how do you call it? It's amazing. It's higher and higher every day. It's making spin everything all around us. And once I don't know, 10 years ago, you were going into 1 week of holiday, and when you are coming back, it was more or less the same thing. Now you go 3 days in vacation and you come back and it's a whole different ecosystem in front of you. Yeah. So everything is transforming so fast, since the demand is so fast. Yeah. The demand is so fast. And one thing is to say, you know what, my traffic increased 50% from 1 gigabit to 1.5 gigabit. But when you are increasing the traffic from values which are much higher, the demand is so challenge. Is such a big challenge. And actually, a battle is won or lost long before going under the stage lights. This is one of the famous quotes of Cassius Clay, and this is so true living these days, because if you don't foresee the change and you don't foresee this hype that is in front of us, then out of sudden you are out of business.
Okay, how is Vodafone helping to build the 5G ecosystem in the region? Okay, because you've mentioned that before. We have to build an ecosystem. 5G is not just about the operators bringing out the network or making cell towers or whatever, or upgrading their network. It's also bringing new services, and that's something that will come up from the ecosystem. So how you are helping the ecosystem?
So as you know, we here in Greece, we have an IoT separate business, an IoT separate company. It's called Vodafone Innovus, which is bringing more and more new use cases every day, and which is looking with high hopes on the new 5G ecosystems that we are deploying. But also we are having also some other initiatives which are helping the society and which are bringing these good benefits to the end user. And recently we joined the Greek Eco Initiative, a project which is led by Greek government, where we created a 5G network into the remote island of Halki. And the upgrade that we put, the enhancements that we put in our network into the island allowed us to provide broadband services to the public, including free public Wi-Fi as well. And the set of digital technologies is not only are accelerating the digital transformation of Halki, but is also supporting green transition that Halki is going through now. And this twin transition can help the island transform its business model and create a sustainable future. Another example that we are having here in Greece, we partner with Demokritos, which is the Greece's largest R&D center, and we created a giga campus in Demokritos premises, where we installed 11 innovative IoT applications, and these are sustained by the 5G network as a foundation. Demokritos labs and the startups that are hosted in there are going to combine the technology that they are bringing on the table with Vodafone technology, and together we are going to create breakthrough technology, state-of-the-art technological solutions. And all of this, of course, we are basing on 5G as foundation. Halki and Demokritos are just the beginning and are just two examples, and more are going to come into the future. Into Europe, on the larger space, we have a lot of 5G incubation centers in other markets, and I can give some examples in Germany, Bundesliga Stadium, where more than 60% increase in terms of mobile capacity for the fans. It will be available for fans to use applications that are going to visualize what is happening with each and every player on the field, are going to have stats, graphics, and live analytics, which will bring a new perspective in understanding what's happening into the field.
Nikolae, thanks very much for the very interesting conversation. I think you explained a little bit more and better understand what's 5G and what's the opportunities there and what it will bring to us. Thanks very much for the conversation.
Thank you very much for inviting and considering me here. Looking forward to hear more about what 5G will bring to each and everyone's life, and what 5G will help this humanity to move forward.
Okay, thanks very much. And thanks to everybody for watching this Fireside Chat. We're going for a very small break, very small, and we'll come back in 2 or 3 minutes with another Fireside Chat. Thanks very much.
Thank you, bye-bye.